Hey guys, I'm Bao. I'm software here at Embedder, and today I'll be walking you guys through, how to effectively talk to your agent. And it's very different from how you would to ChatGPT or Google. You gotta think of it as, having a friend who has a very in-depth understanding of your code base. And I'll show you how to get the most out of it in this video. So here, the two modes that we'll be covering today will be act mode and plan mode, and with the exception of debug mode, which will go in depth in other videos. But for now, let's get started. With act mode, right here, you can toggle the modes down the bottom right corner. You can toggle between act and plan, and you can also shift tab to toggle. As you can see, I'm toggling between the modes. And with act mode, the agent has full access. It could read files, run shell commands, edit, build, commit, like all the works. Use this when you know what you want and you want it done. And with plan mode, it's a little bit different because the agent can only read by design, and it can read, search, look up docs, and ask you questions and write like an MD, like a plan for you to review. So use this when you don't have an idea of what you want to do yet, and you should use this to plan out what features you want to implement or what code you want to write with your agent. If you're unsure of what type of design you want to make, then definitely go with plan mode. And you can also get plan mode if you type /plan or /act, and that should switch modes automatically alongside the toggle button. All right, without further ado, let's get started with prompting your coding agent. So there's a very big contrast between bad prompt and good prompt. And what differentiates between the two prompts is how specific you are with prompting your coding agent. And so for an example here, a bad prompt would be, just write a Verilog program for calculator. And the reason why this is bad is because you're not giving enough context behind, like what your design should be and what it should look like. And so the agent's going to assume a lot of things, or it will ask you questions, based on, what you want to do. And this is good, but it's better to start off specific. So here I've prepared a better prompt as an example to show you what a good prompt would look like. I'm very specific here of like the requirements that I want and what operations, like the opcodes that I want are my coding agent to code after. And so here it's more specific. I have the inputs, the output, what it should look like. You should give a lot of thought behind what the architecture should look like before you prompt and note it all down. And so that the agent has a better context of what they should do. So if you click send here, the agent has a much better idea of what it's doing instead of just blindly guessing or filling in the gaps for the users. And this is what you want to do. All right. So next part, I'll take you through how to actually switch to plan mode and then use plan mode. So if you do /plan, it should switch to plan mode, and then you can start planning what your next steps should be. So here, let's say, write me a test bench that covers all the opcodes. So we want to make sure that they're all correct. Once you prompt the agent for the plan mode, it'll read through all the files that are related, and then it'll create an MD file for you to review. So if you click on view plan right now, you could take a look at what the plan should be. So you take a look, sounds good, seems good, approve and execute. That should execute the approved plan and write the necessary files for you to test later on. And you don't always need to use plan mode. and you should only use it when there's multiple parts of code base that's involved, or you're not sure like what the right approach is. And if the change is like risky, expensive to undo, they kind of want like a document trail of why you did something. And so you can also talk to the agent with plan mode or with other modes as well, but it will ask you like questions for more context, and like you should always answer those questions. And if you're not happy with one of the choices, then you should press other and tell it what to do instead. So an example of answering a question for your coding agent would be, say, I'm going to prompt ask me a clarifying question about the design. And here's an example of a question that the agent would ask. And you could read through it, see if the choices align with what you want to implement. And if it's not, then press other and then type your answer. If you want to see what's inside of a certain file, you can mention it inside the chat box, and you can do this by uh, typing at inside the chat box, and then it should give you a variety of options of the files you can mention. And so I want to ask the agent what's inside of my calculator file. I'll add calculator.v, uh, what's inside of this, and the path file will be automatically given to the agent, so it doesn't have to go through the entire workspace. And this is then like very helpful if you have like a really big code base and you really want the agent to look at a specific file. You can also stitch multiple files in one prompt, and we can kind of ask the agent to compare, uh, say for example, at calculator dot v compare with calculator test bench, and it'll ask the agent to compare the two files together, and the agent can see the file path for the two files right away. Anything that isn't like talk to the model is probably a slash command, and you should type slash to see the entire list of commands that we support right now. And I'll walk you through some of the more used slash commands. And clear here would just clear the condensation, and Embedder forgets everything. And you should use this when you switch tasks. So if you slash clear here, it will delete the entire conversation. And slash compress will compress the current conversation into like a summary of like what we've been talking about. And this will free up the context window and save you tokens. So you should definitely do this when sessions start feeling a bit slow or forgetful. So you can slash undo to undo the last message. And this is quick if you mistype something, or you slash rewind or hover over the message to click rewind. So if I want to rewind, I can just rewind right here. And this is just gonna rewind and like go back further in time. And it kind of picks like the previous state from the conversation. Some of these slash commands will have descriptions of what it's looking for. So if it's not it's the slash command plus something else, then it will just prompt up like a small card describing what you're missing and how to actually like send the command. So you can always refer back to that. That's all from today for me. If you have any questions, please refer back to our YouTube page where we'll post more demos in the future on more functionalities. But for now, this is how you get started with Embedder. Prompt the agent, talk to the agent, and start building. Thank you guys.